figured I would do something that Sean gave me, and that is it's a beer that I actually, while he was down in Virginia, I think it was while he was down in Virginia, I was at the Chilean Beer Garden, and they were featuring some beers from the Vale at that point, and I was fortunate enough to be able to try a large selection of Vale's beers, two of which Sean actually ended up bringing me packaged for not distribution but for take-home purposes. So it was Eager to Bleed, which was it was like a fruit smoothie kind of sour thing that was incredibly delicious. Featured a bunch of tropical fruit. Frankly, I don't really remember that one all that well. And the other one was Curtains 2, which is what I'm going to do now. Prepared in a bottle. That was an Imperial Stout with some pureed pineapple, candied pineapple, coconut, vanilla. I don't know, I'm going off the top of my head. Pretty sure it was about 12% ABV. Didn't love it on draft, to be honest with you, but I'm a proponent of, I don't think adjunct stouts are best enjoyed via draft. I think they're best enjoyed in the bottle format. So I'm actually really excited to try this one. Sean got it straight from the source. It's got to be a month or two old at this point now. But here we go. So, yeah, I'm typically going to be smoking cigars as I produce these for Sean. Right now I'm doing a Roma Craft Neanderthal genetic deformity. Beauty. Alright. Let's get into it. Ah, fuck, I don't fall over. Well, that's what those are for. Let's get into this bad boy here. Crown glass. Oil. Now I broke my cardinal rule of first time having, especially something like a heavily adjunct stout like this one, never rim the glass. But I don't know, what are you gonna do? I'm partying. Again, look at the shirt, having a good time. So as you can see, it looks like a goddamn oil spill. There's a good amount of like chunkies and floaties in the top up there. Not sure what that could be attributed to, but I'm drinking either way. The Vale's never done me wrong yet, so it's got a good amount of bubbles. You know, it's fairly effervescent for a 12% ABV Imperial Stout with a bunch of adjuncts. Yeah, you're looking at it. I'm looking at it. We're getting the same picture here. Let's get a nose. All right, so already when I was pouring it, I was getting a good amount of the nose, and it smelled differently than what I recall from having on draft at the Chilean Beer Garden. And again, that was a month and a half or so ago. But it's already showing me a little bit more than that did. And fair to bring up that I was several beers deep by the time I got to Curtains 2 on draft there, so I don't know. I'm not one to blame the beer. I usually blame the operator. So, but yeah, definitely getting the pineapple, the coconut, a little bit of the vanilla. That's all showing beautifully, and your typical Imperial Stout characteristics, all there, all present to account for. God damn it. Wow, that's fucking delicious. Alright, so let's get a taste here. Last video I didn't say salute or cheers or anything like that. I guess I'll say it now, so salute. Ooh. Ooh. I'm going to go for a second right off the bat. That is fucking squid ink mouthfeel. If you've ever had the opportunity to try squid ink anything, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't think this has lactose in it. I don't remember reading anything about lactose. But it's definitely got a good amount of that, like, coat your mouth, big glass of chocolate milk kind of mouthfeel and body to it. It's a lot bigger and heavier on the palate than I remember. First impressions right off the bat, the pineapple puree is definitely showing up. Candied pineapples are really showing up, and I know candied pineapples really well. My dad used to get them by the bag, Homa brand, coincidentally. My last name's Homer, but it was Homa. I don't know if that's a thing everywhere, but it is up here in the Northeast, at least in Massachusetts. Just Trader Joe's, same deal. Just candied fucking pineapple, big time. And again, aside from the usual characteristics you get from a big Imperial Stout like this, some coffee notes, but not specifically just coffee. Loads and loads of chocolate, fudge, like Rocky Road ice cream almost, like a little bit of nuttiness to it and stuff like that. Again, the big thing is the mouthfeel in the body here. Heavy. Fucking heavy. Like, this is not to be mucked with. Now I really regret rimming the glass because I gotta finish this damn thing, but this is a 500 ml format bottle. I'm a goddamn trooper, so should be no problem for a seasoned vet such as myself. But to the layperson, it'd absolutely do some damage. Like, it'd be brutal. Well, I'm gonna touch this cigar real quick. I've been yapping too much and not tended to it. You know what I'm not getting like up front a lot is the coconut or toasted coconut. I don't recall which. I'm going to lean towards more toasted coconut. I'm getting it just as I'm getting the vanilla, but it's not presenting itself in a way that like you're getting very coconut heavy. So I used to be pretty opposed to coconut heavy stouts, right? Like, it wasn't my jam. If I had a pina colada style sour, think Little Umbrellas or whatever, I wouldn't really say that's pina colada style sour, but it's a sour that has toasted coconut in it. Really enjoyed it in that format. Stouts, it wasn't too crazy about it. I think Dunkin' Donuts might have fucked me up with their pina colada iced coffees. I don't know. I tried it when I was 18. I was just like, just kind of threw me off the whole thing, But what the coconut and the vanilla are doing here is kind of taming the tropical fruit sensation of the pineapple, right? So it's not like a big pineapple bomb, which is something I was concerned with drinking at this point. After a couple of cigars today and more than a couple of beers, I figured it would be a heartburn machine. Absolutely not. The chocolate from the malts, like, it's not even chocolate, it's fudge. It's fucking heavy fudge. I'm actually wondering if they added some kind of like cacao nibs or something to it to get like such an intense chocolatey flavor, because this is more than your typical dark malts character, your heavily roasted malt character. It's fucking fudge. But like I was saying, the coconut and the vanilla are really kind of helping round everything out. And not to say that they're not imparting their own little tidbit into the whole thing, but they're not as forward as I would have expected them to be. And I'm glad they're not. And it's just kind of rounding out the entire thing. And it is actually really incredibly balanced, heavily adjuncted stout, and I rather enjoy it. I should mention this is a it does say on the bottle here it was brewed in collaboration with Hudson Valley, which, if you drank beer for any significant amount of time, I don't know if you can see that or not. These are folks at me, whatever. Hudson Valley Brewing. I don't know. if you've drank beer for any significant amount of time, particularly stouts and things like that, you've come across them at some point. They make great stuff. Oh, this actually says bottled on June 13th. Pretty badass. Recycle or die cellar if you dare. This is one that I'm actually comfortable with cellaring. Something about the 500 milliliter bottles, I never really am too concerned about cellaring it, because if I do miss its mark, I miss the bloom or the plume, as we'd say in the cigar world. I'm only dumping 500 milliliters of liquid. Trillium, they've kind of moved to the 350 milliliter format for their non-stout offerings, and I appreciate that. Those things I've never had a problem with getting past their whole, blossoming point where they're at peak. Okay, it says right here, conditioned on pineapple, honey, coconut, and vanilla. So that's pretty cool, actually. The honey, I'm not sure I'm actually getting the honey in this. Let me give it another whack here. I wouldn't expect the honey to show up in any big way, considering the other adjuncts in the stout. But it does have that honey-specific sweetness that you wouldn't get from pure cane sugar, or any of the other knockoff sugars like beet or high fructose or whatever. I'm trying to think of another honey stout that I had. Oh, 6 States, this year's anniversary beer from Trillium, featured honey. Some nice raw local honey. Obviously, as far as honey beers go, we have numerous examples, particularly here in Massachusetts, from Trillium with their cutting tiles and all the variants, and Buzz from Night Shift Brewing, for example. And there's lots of honey wheats. Obama's presidential ale was a honey wheat, I'm pretty sure. So there's numerous examples of that, but in stouts, it's not a prominent, popular adjunct, and I'm not sure that, now that I've read it, it's showing up on the palate a lot more. I guess it's something that I couldn't quite put my finger on. It's not something I'd expect in a format like this with the pineapple, coconut, and the vanilla. But that's a pretty cool adjunct, formula, in my opinion. We saw it with Trillium and Cellar Maker's collab, Escape Plan, which was a sour, very different than a stout, obviously, but it's just it's a adjunct, structure that works everywhere you put it at, in my opinion. I wonder if someone would do that with a blonde to tie it back to the Alma Gang thing, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. Fuck it. But it's definitely, it's way more enjoyable than I remember from the first time I had it. After the Trillium Beer Guide, I will say it, I did not love this beer the first time I had it. It offended me. The amount of fruit compared with the chocolate, it just felt like I took a Hershey's bar and wrapped it around a goddamn pineapple. I guess I can blame that one on Trillium because they served it to me. Because I'm having it in the bottle format straight from the bale, courtesy of Sean of Nerd Sense. And goddamn, I'm really enjoying this fucking beer quite a bit.